when you first got started, you had a good head on your shoulders. Obviously, you're engineer. You went down to Georgia Southern to find a dame that you married, and you got married. You bought some rental properties. What was your mindset like? And I've got a few particular areas I'm going to ask about your mindset.
Mhm.
First of all, what was your mindset on time and money when it comes to scarcity versus abundance?
So this is good because I actually had a lot of growing to do in this area. I started out, kind of feeling like there was going to be competition over good deals. And, keep in mind when I first got started investing, it was like in this huge boom in real estate. And so everybody and their brother, me, one of them, was getting involved in, the real estate game one way or another. And so when I got started, I got myself out there and really started competing for the deals and getting in that space. Um, and even though I had at the beginning a mindset of scarcity that was like, I've got to beat these people, beat these other competitors to the door, what I ended up finding is that really and truly, you very rarely will bump heads with another investor. And then I listened to a local investor say this one time, and and I don't remember exactly how he said it, but it kind of blew my mind. It was like, okay, well, if we're both interested in this house, why do we have to fight over it? Why do we have to compete over it? Instead of you and me saying to the seller, well, I'll give you 100, well, I'll give you 101, I'll give you 101 and a half, I'll give you 103. We're hurting each other, and we're the ones who are going to deal with this for a long time because the seller's going to get their piece and move on, and we want to do them right. But the better way to do it is let's figure out a way to work together. Let's collaborate instead of compete. And then this is another thing, you mentioned Pete Fortunato. One thing I just love the way he puts this, and I've tried to make this my mantra for years. It is, if you spend your life recruiting allies, you'll find that you have a lot of joy in your life and things become fun. And now we spend our time looking for activities that are ELF. They fit the ELF model. They're easy, lucrative, and fun. So if it fits ELF, then we're after it. And so back then we kind of started getting the beginnings of that kind of mentality. Like, okay, well, let's recruit allies. Let's recruit allies who can teach us, allies that will loan us money because we found a good enough deal. And so I started out with a scarcity mentality and have over time come to the realization that there's plenty out there. There's just no way that we could all bump heads on all the deals out there. It's far better for more of us to be out there because then there's more people to become allies with. And
Yeah.
so instead of thinking all these people are my competition, all of these other people out there are my potential allies. And if I reach out to them and we do good business together and I like the way they do business, I like the way they conduct themselves, I like their reputation with other people, then then we have potential for a long-term relationship. And over time and over years, you'll find that you gain much more happiness out of life recruiting allies versus having a scarcity mindset and feeling like you need to claw on to everything that might come your way. One of the most tangible benefits of getting away from that scarcity mindset is that when you have a feeling like if you don't do this deal, somebody else will get it, you tend to be emotionally committed and in many cases to the wrong deals. You'll make bad financial decisions, decisions that will haunt you for years to come
Mhm.
because you felt like you needed to do something because you felt like somebody was going to take it from you when in reality it may not have been that great of a deal to begin with. And if you had
Yeah.
simply brought somebody else in to collaborate with you on it, you might have been able to get a better deal for everybody involved, you, your collaborator, your ally, and the seller. So
Yeah.
that has changed for me over the years. And and I would say, and still in some regards, I still have to fight that. Not necessarily with real estate, just because we definitely have an ally mentality. But in some regards, I still fight that battle every day. I feel like there's some things that God wires into us to kind of keep us in check. That we have to say that, well, I'm not a perfect person, because if I was perfect, I'd have no need of help and other allies and friends and relationships. So I feel like there's a lot that is to be gained from recognizing that there's probably always going to be areas that I could see more growth and perfection in. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say early on, I definitely had a scarcity mindset, but I changed that over time. So
Yeah. And to just put a little bit more microscope on it, your scarcity was in a fear of losing.
that's right.
Is what it sounds like. The fear of missing out.
That's right.
And the abundance was, I'm going to shift and do what Leon Johnson told me this a few weeks ago. If you help enough other people get what they want, you will get what you want. And
That's right.
the world is going to give you what you want by helping enough people get what they want. And it sounds like, just a different way to say that of, I'm going to build this army of allies,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do my best to help them get what they want. And I'm going to do my best to be a team player because at the end of the day, this is a huge team sport. Gary Johnston, that's one of the first things he says at his seminars. Real estate investing is a team sport.
That's right.
We're we're all in this for different reasons, but at the end of the day, we can't be enemies. There are definitely going to be the mafias out there of real estate investing that want to do all the things, but I think it's very important to do like Chris says, build that army of allies and drive forward. But that scarce mindset of fear of missing out, the fear of not winning, shifted to I'm going to help a lot of other people win with me, and we're going to all
Yeah.
win together. And so that shift, it's so big, it's so important too.
Yeah.
How did your relationship with money change? Because when people get started investing in real estate, for the most part, we're pretty broke, or we're just, we're making it, but we're not wealthy.
Yeah.
And then there's a shift. And then now we have to become good stewards of money. We now have to be wise. We now have to be responsible. So how did
Yeah.
your relationship with money shift?
Oh, great question. So to cast back a little bit, when I was very young, and I started cutting grass, and I remember, I'd cut grass and get $20 for cutting somebody's grass. I this is going to sound really, really stupid to a lot of people, but I would actually get the starch, an ironing board, and an iron, and I would iron my money until it would be perfectly flat, and I would stack it all up because I liked accumulating it and how it looked. And I would be penny wise. I would not spend it on frivolous things. I didn't go out and buy gum and candy, but I would be what's a lot of people would consider pound foolish. Like, and it was okay to be that when you were a kid. I wanted to go buy remote control airplanes or remote control cars or something like that. But I remember from a very young age, like ironing money and wanting to keep it and trying to collect it. And then, I didn't iron my money when I became an adult because, you don't really get paid in cash when you're an engineer.
Be a lot of
So
ironing.
yeah, no, yeah, there'd be a lot of ironing, right? So what happened was that I started, we listened to Dave Ramsey a lot. We paid attention to his books. We listened to, there was that guy out of Atlanta who had the radio show in Atlanta. Oh, I can't remember his name now. The consumer
Clark
guy,
Clark
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 Howard.
Howard. Yeah, Clark
Yeah,
Howard.
we listened to him, and so we started getting educated on how to be a smart consumer, and then a smart saver, and then a smart investor. And I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad in college, and it really changed my outlook on a lot of things. And then we started trying to really live that Rich Dad Poor Dad lifestyle as we had our early adulthood before we had kids, and as we started buying rental property, as we shifted our mindset from the old school ironing my money and watching it sit there until I found some fun thing to buy it on. It became okay. Now I can really consider things from the long-term perspective. I can take money I've got now and I can put it into something with the expectation that one day it will really start paying back. And when I look back over those years that I would iron money, what I was really adopting a lifestyle of delayed gratification. I would save my money until I had something fun to put it in. And
Yep.
it was a big ticket item, a $200 remote control airplane or something like that. Well, when I
Oh
became an
yeah.
adult and we started investing, it was we would save up enough money or we would develop enough banking relationships to buy a house that we would have to kind of maybe potentially feed or maybe get a couple $100 a month in cash flow from. We might have a big repair every now and again, but eventually that would really pay back. And so
Yep.
developing the mindset of the long-term delayed gratification really helped us just push through those tough, like I said, awkward teenage years of owning rental property to get to the stage where the investments really started to pay off.
Yep.
And so that our relationship with money and our mindset went from, consume, have fun with it, with buying toys and fun things to, okay, let's push money out. Let's not buy brand new cars like all of our other married friends were doing. We still to this day, and I'm 46. My wife is, she's 22. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
You just had a birthday. I'll let her tell you her age one day. But
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Yes, she's out shopping right now for her birthday present. But we never have bought a brand new car. In fact, the
Mm.
newest car we have ever bought was, gosh, I think 6 years old. That may change one day in the future, but our frugality with that was not like we were being stingy. It was like, well, instead of buying a new car, Let's put that money into houses. Let's put that money
Yeah.
into building a business. And so, a lot of our investment wasn't just in buying a house, it was in getting retooled and setting up business systems, setting up advertising, and reaping the benefits of the advertising. And even that, in many respects, is a long-term investment. You can't just always just pour thousands of dollars into marketing and expect to get it back right away. It
Yep.
takes time for that to happen. And so we developed over time that delayed gratification mentality, and have learned to continue that on, because it's not just about us at this point. It's about our children. It's about, hey, we might live a lot longer than we originally anticipated. There's lots of medical advancements and AI that may come together in the next few years. We have to anticipate that there may be a need for money for a long, long time, and we want to make sure
Yeah.
that we're continuing to have that mindset. Does that make sense?
No, it